59% of Americans cannot cover an unexpected $1,000 expense. And if you're one of those people, I want to help show you how you can save $10,000 within the next year. Now, if we want to save $10,000 within 1 year, it's really just a math equation. It comes down to $833 a month. But depending on if you get paid weekly or bi-weekly, it might help to look at it as how much you need to save per check coming in. Now, if you get paid weekly, you need to save $192 from every check. If you get paid bi-weekly, you need to save $384 a check. Now, every time we get our paycheck, we know how much we need to save. And what we need to do is we need to understand the concept of paying ourselves first. So you get your paycheck, and the very first thing you need to do, if you're getting paid weekly, is take $192 and set it aside. Bi-weekly, $384 and set it aside. That's the first thing you need to do. Now, if you're like most people, you're living paycheck to paycheck, and you might not have $192 to set aside from every check because you need that money to live. And so the only way for this to mathematically be possible is to reduce your expenditure. So let's go over a couple categories that most people will be able to save the most amount of money on. Now, the first category that we need to look at is housing. Housing is most people's number one expense, and almost half of Americans are burdened by housing costs, meaning that they spend more than 30% of their income on housing. So how do we reduce our housing costs? Well, the most obvious way to reduce housing costs is to get a smaller place to live in. Instead of getting a 3-bedroom apartment, get a 2. Instead of a 2, get a 1. Instead of a 1, get a studio. Now, that's the most obvious way. Some other ways that are also even more effective is getting a roommate. If you're able to rent out one of your rooms for $800 a month, just by doing that, you'll save $10,000 a year. So if you have a 2-bedroom apartment, you get a roommate, put them in the other bedroom, they pay $833 a month. Just off of that alone, you'll save $10,000 a year. Now, what are some other things we can look at? We can also look at our housing costs. The average car payment in America is around $700 to $800 a month. I have a buddy who he had an $800 a month car payment, and we were talking about finances and whatnot, and I told him how I was refinancing my car and cutting down the loan amount. I went from 5 years to 4 years on my car payment or on my car loan. And he was thinking about it, and he went and he refinanced his car, and he went from paying $800 a month to $600 a month. So he saved $200 a month without doing anything besides refinancing his car. Now, the more extreme version to that is to get a cheaper car. People are getting these $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 cars. You don't need a car like that. You can get a very decent car with a $400,000 or $400 car payment a month. So if you have an $800,000 or an $800 a month car payment, it might be worth looking into trading in that car, getting a much cheaper car, and cutting your payment in half and getting it down to $400 a month. If your goal is to save $833 a month to get to that $10,000 amount within a year, and you cut down your car payment by $400, you're halfway there just on one move. Now, the other thing Americans love spending money on is dining out. The average American spends $300 a month at fast food, restaurants, etc. Now, I'm not saying that you have to never spend money going to Chick-fil-A or whatever it might be, but just make it intentional. Say, hey, we're only gonna go out twice a week. We're gonna go out this day and we're gonna go out this day, and that's it. Most of the time, people are spending their money eating out because they don't have it planned out. They get off of work and they say, hey, I don't know what I'm gonna do for dinner. Let me just go to McDonald's and get some food. And that, when you have that mentality, that's what really racks up your bill with eating out. So make it intentional. Say, hey, I'm gonna eat out on this day. I'm gonna eat out on this day, and keep it to that. And the last category we have here is credit card debt. Credit card debt is the most useless waste of your money possible. You could be paying 18 to 29% in interest on your credit card debt. So if you have credit card debt, your number one priority should be paying off that debt as quickly as possible. Pay off that debt and then build up your savings. Now, if you do these couple of things, if you pay off your credit card debt, if you limit how much you're eating out, if you reduce your car payment by $200 to $400 a month, and if you get a roommate that's paying $800 a month, you're saving more than $10,000 in that year. You're saving closer to $15,000. Just those 4 things, and now you got an extra $10,000 to $15,000 a year. Now, the thing you have to be careful with is lifestyle creep. What most people will do is if they get a roommate who's paying $800 a month, they then take that money, instead of putting it away like they plan to do, they now start spending that money. They start being less disciplined on their budget. And that is the number one thing you have to remember. You have to have a budget, stick to your budget, and as your income increases, and as you see your bank account start to increase, do not touch that money. The biggest piece of advice I can give for keeping yourself from touching that money that you're trying to set aside is keep it in a completely separate bank account. What you can do is you can go to your W-2 and say, hey, out of every check I will get, I want this dollar amount deposited straight into this separate bank account. You set up the bank account, you get the debit card, you cut it up. You don't spend any money in it. You don't even look at it. You just let the money go straight to the bank account, let it sit there. And if you follow these steps and you keep the money aside, it is mathematically impossible for you to not have $10,000 saved up by the end of the year.